Finally, the sad case of Philando Castile is coming to an end. I'm going to read to you an article from, I think this is from the Minneapolis Tribune. Settlement for Philando Castile's girlfriend will be $800,000. St. Anthony City Council voted 4-0 to settle with Diamond Reynolds for $675,000, while Reynolds will receive another $125,000 from the League of Minnesota Cities Insurance Trust and the city of Roseville, making the total settlement $800,000. And this is from Pat Pfeiffer and Star Tribune. The St. Anthony City Council, facing threatened litigation, voted Tuesday night to pay Diamond Reynolds and her young daughter a $675,000 with the police shooting of Philando Castile. Reynolds will receive another $125,000 from the League of Minnesota Cities Insurance Trust and the city of Roseville, making the total settlement $800,000. The settlement resolves Reynolds' claims of emotional distress and false arrest, according to a statement on St. Anthony's website. Reynolds, 28, and her daughter, who was 4 at the time, were riding in the car with Castile when he was pulled over by a St. Anthony police officer on July 6, 2016, on Lapintor Avenue in Falcon Heights. Castile volunteered that he had a gun, and the officer started shooting, fatally hitting Castile. One bullet passed within inches of Reynolds' daughter, who was in the back seat. Reynolds began live streaming on Facebook moments after the shooting. The video has been viewed millions of times. Neither Reynolds nor her daughter was injured, but Reynolds was detained for a time by Roseville police and questioned by the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension. Those issues figured into the settlement, according to the city's statement. Reynolds released a short statement Tuesday night saying, "The settlement symbolizes that what happened to my daughter and I on July 6, 2016 was wrong. No amount of money can change what happened, bring Philando back, or erase the pain that my daughter and I continue to suffer. I do hope that closing this chapter will allow us to get our lives back and move forward." Reynolds' attorney, Larry Rogers, did not return phone messages left for him. The settlement will resolve all civil litigation against the city and current and former employees and opens the door to healing, Mayor Jerry Falls said. Once approved by the court, a portion of the settlement will be placed in trust for Reynolds' daughter and her future educational needs, the city's statement said. The settlement does not assume guilt by any of the named parties. Instead, the agreement allows the parties to avoid the protracted litigation involved in adjudicating state claims and potential federal civil rights claims, which may have taken years to resolve, the statement said. After previous mediation, city council members went into closed-door session about 7:35 p.m. Tuesday night. 20 minutes later, they emerged and voted 4-0 to approve the settlement. The officer who shot Castile, Geronimo Yanez, was acquitted of all charges in a jury trial in June. The initial shooting and the verdict sparked weeks of protests, including 2 that shut down Interstate 94 in St. Paul. St. Anthony City Manager Mark Casey said officials have been in touch with Reynolds' attorney about potential litigation. Although she and her lawyer did not file a lawsuit in court, they prepared one they shared with city officials before Tuesday's meeting. In June, Castile's mother, Valerie Castile, received a $3 million settlement from the city of St. Anthony. Although Castile's father asked for part of the money, the court ultimately decided that it should go to his mother. Valerie Castile has used some of the money to start a foundation in her son's name. Philando Castile, 32, worked as a nutrition services supervisor at J.J. Hill Montessori School in St. Paul at the time of his death. And this one is from June by the Star Tribune. Castile family reaches $3 million settlement in fatal shooting. Philando Castile's family has reached nearly $3 million settlement in the city with the city of St. Anthony for his death at the hands of one of its police officers. The city does not admit any liability in Castile's death last year, but the settlement likely speaks to the city's fears about its chances at trial, said Andrew Knoll, an attorney for Castile's mother, Valerie Castile. Knoll said the substantial amount of money among the highest settlement amounts in Minnesota for such cases, likely as a nod toward the risk St. Anthony saw in going through a civil trial. Its actions speak louder than words kind of thing, he said. The settlement was reached without filing of a lawsuit in federal or state court. It comes a little over a week after Officer Geronimo Yanez was acquitted of manslaughter and reckless discharge of a firearm for fatally shooting Castille during a July 6 traffic stop. While a Ramsey County jury acquitted Yanez, the law allows the family to seek civil recourse. After the verdict, the city announced it would offer Yanez a voluntary separation agreement to help him transition to another career other than being a St. Anthony officer. Attorneys for Valerie Castile and the city issued a joint statement Monday morning announcing that the $2.995 million settlement, the parties moved expeditiously to resolve potential civil claims resulting from this tragedy in order to allow the process of healing to move forward for the Castile family, for the people of St. Anthony, and for all those impacted by the death of Philando Castile throughout the United States, the statement said. The statement will be paid by the League of Minnesota Cities Insurance Trust at no cost to St. Anthony taxpayers. The statement said. City Manager Mark Casey did not return a message seeking comment. The settlement amount is the maximum insurance coverage for the city, said Noel and co-counsel Robert Bennett. Noel said that the Valerie Castile will use some of the funds to support Philando Castile Relief Foundation. About a third of the settlement will go toward paying her attorneys, including Glenda Hatchett of Atlanta. This foundation was established after the murder of Philando to help other victims of gun violence and add some relief as you grieve, according to the foundation's Facebook page. I think this will not only help with the work of the foundation, but help prevent situations like this from happening again, Noel said. I know that Valerie Castile is committed and that she will follow through. Bennett said the next steps include tracking down several of Philando Castile's half-siblings to determine whether they want to make any claims on the money. Valerie Castile will craft a distribution plan that will be filed in Hennepin County Civil Court, he said. A hearing will likely be held to review the plan, which must be approved by a judge. Bennett said it could take 4 to 6 weeks before the hearing is held. Valerie Castile was not interested in publicly addressing the settlement, Bennett said. I'm kind of glad this is over. I don't like blood money, but it is what it is. And it's amazing how they can actually pay out this amount of money to black male victims' families. Remember, Eric Garner's widow got $3 million. No, I think she got $6 million, as a matter of fact. I don't know, what is a life worth? Sometimes they say a black man's death is worth more than his life sometimes. It is what it is. I thought I would read this into the record. I hadn't seen a whole lot of coverage on the settlements. Since his killing by the cop and the trial, I haven't heard very much. But I think they wanted to keep this under the radar. They wanted to keep this quiet, and I think they wanted this to die down. I don't like that the police officer wasn't punished. I don't like him being able to murder somebody in cold blood like that and walk scot-free. I think he should have gotten something. I don't think he should have walked out of that court with his separation agreement with money in his pocket, all going on to live his life again. Everybody got paid. Everybody walked away with something except Philando. Is this justice? I guess in a sense it is. In his lifetime, I don't think he would have been worth $4 million, but in his death, I guess he is. I guess that's why they call it blood money. Anyway, I'm gonna jump off of here. I don't have much to say after this. Kind of numb about this. You kind of reflect on your own life as a black man, and you realize that your life as a black man comes down to dollars and cents to everybody on both sides. It is what it is. Nothing you can do about it. Just have to move on. Anyway, this is BGS out. I'll see you guys on the next one.